Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And if this is your first time, welcome. Today I want to talk about the altcoin reckoning that we're seeing right now. A lot of altcoins are down 20+%, some of our favorite altcoins. And I want to take you through my thinking as to if I think altcoins are still a safe investment, at least for me. So I'm going to walk you through this, my vision and my thinking. And at the end, in the comments, let me know what you think about this. And if you like my content, please hit the like button and definitely help the channel grow. And if you want to see more of my content, please consider subscribing to the channel. So let's get into this. So as we know, this week, Gary Gensler and the SEC filed a lawsuit against Binance US to be exact, and Coinbase, saying that they've been selling unregulated securities. CZ has a little bit more, or Binance rather, has a little bit more charges against them, but that's the bulk of the complaint. And the market at first reacted negatively, then there was a slight pump, and then it's been negative since. And if we look at the heat map here, you see that Bitcoin's down negative 0.2%, ETH is pink, BNB definitely is taking a hit, XRP is taking a hit, so a lot of red. So obviously the news it's not helping the market at all. Now, if we look at the fear and greed, you see fear and greed, surprisingly, we're still in neutral. You would think with all the hits that crypto's taken, that would definitely be in the fear stage right now, but still neutral, so that's positive. Although there's been a steady decline, as you can see, last week we were 53, yesterday 50, now 49. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we continue this trend. By the end of next week, we may hit that fear level, but it's okay. It's okay. Now, let's look at the coin market cap and see what we have. And if, we see Bitcoin's down 4.6%, ETH down 7.5%. However, Bitcoin still maintained that 25,000 level at support. So that's good. It hasn't gone past that. And if we look at ETH, still within that $1,700 to $1,800 range, it still has support there. So that's positive. And as we know, in these lawsuits by SEC, Bitcoin and ETH have not been named. BNB is taking a massive hit. If you look at the last 7 days, down 22%. Crazy. XRP, still hot project right now because they're having an ongoing trial going on with SEC, and things are looking promising for them. But Cardano, look at that, down 27%. Solana, also listed in that complaint, down 26.5%. And Polygon, down 32.6%. That's crazy. Crazy. Even Litecoin, they have a halving coming up in August, and they're down almost 20%. So the market is not looking too great right now. Not looking too great. And let me go ahead and let me just filter this, and we just take a look at the project's last 7 days. And we see the biggest loser is Sui, going down. The counterpart to Sui, Aptos, down 33%. But these coins have been dumping on the market recently, so I'm not surprised by that. Chili's was named in the lawsuit as a security, and you see that's down 32%. We already talked about Polygon. Axie Infinity down 30%. So any way you look at it, it's not looking good. But if you're a true believer in some of these projects that we just listed, then this is a bargain deal. You're getting some good deals right now, and I would say continue to do you. Solana's down 26.5%. We talked about Algorand, which Gensler named the security prior to this lawsuit, 26.5. Near Protocol, I like that, and that's down 25%. I believe that's also named in the lawsuit as a security. Phantom, another one of my favorites, down 25.2. So that's what you got. And Cosmos also named, and that is down 23.3% last 7 days. VeChain down 22%. So I don't want to keep going on in this. This is depressing. But again, it's your mindset. If you're a true investor and you truly believe in these projects, you are waiting for these type of prices. We don't know how far we're going to go down, but you're waiting for these type of prices. So this is good, either way you look at it. Now, my thought process on why SEC is really going after crypto, is it because they're really trying to protect the investors? I mean, Coinbase has been around forever, right? And now all of a sudden they want to go after this for unregulated securities. Let's think about that for a minute. And throughout history, it's learned that whenever you have somebody or a regime in control, they don't give up that power easily. And if they see something that can threaten that power, they'll definitely try to attack and try to, eliminate the threat. So we know that DeFi is popular. We know that crypto is popular. And why is it popular? It's popular for many, many different things. But most important thing to me is because it's the transfer of wealth. We no longer need a bank or apply for credit to do things in order to buy property, in order to build wealth. You can bank yourself with crypto, right? At first, it was just an idea and a bunch of nerds talking about it, but now it's catching on, especially with this last bull market. And institutions are starting to pick it up. And if banks are losing, and they don't want to lose that control, and banks and their lobbyists definitely contribute to our politicians. And I'm sure they're in the ear of some of them saying, hey, something's going on with this. We got to do something. Can we eradicate it? Probably not, but we can probably tax the crap out of it. And maybe the competition won't be as steep anymore. Just a thought. Then I saw this article, the richest 1% bag nearly twice as much as wealth as the rest of the world put together over the past 2 years. That is crazy. Billionaires have seen extraordinary increases in their wealth during the pandemic and cost of living crisis years of 2020. 26 trillion, or 63% of new wealth, was captured by the richest 1%, while 16 trillion, 37%, went to the rest of the world put together. A billionaire gained roughly 1.7 million for every $1 of new global wealth earned by a person in the bottom 90%. Billionaire fortunes have increased 2.7 billion a day. This comes on top of a decade of historic gains, the number of and wealth of billionaires having doubled over the last 10 years. Billionaire wealth surged in 2022 with rapidly rising food and energy profits. The report shows that 95 food and energy corporations have more than doubled their profits in 2022. They made 306 billion in windfall profits and paid out 257 billion, or 84% of that, to rich shareholders. The Walton dynasty, which owns half of Walmart, received 8.5 billion over the last year. Indian billionaire Adani, owner of major energy corporations, has seen this wealth soar to 42%, or 42 billion, 46%, in 22 alone. Excess corporate profits have driven at least half of the inflation in Australia, US, and UK. At the same time, 1.7 billion workers now live in countries where inflation is outpacing wages, and over 820 million people, roughly 1 in 10 people on Earth, are going hungry. Women and girls often eat less and last, and make up nearly 60% of the world's hunger population. The World Bank says we are likely seeing the biggest increase in global inequality and poverty since World War II. Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, fixes all of this. All of this. Just a thought. Now follow me here. So we see that this week I talked about already that Gensler is going and SEC is going after Binance and Coinbase, right? So I saw this article here, and basically they said, what's the outcome of these cases? What can happen? And he said basically Binance and Coinbase will fight, and they've stated so, and they have the funds to do so to defend themselves. Binance perhaps faces the most serious allegations, including the exchange and its CEO, CZ, that it misled investors about the exchange ability to detect market manipulation, and it misused customers' funds. Meanwhile, this analyst says Coinbase, which is a widely publicly traded company, could emerge from this fight a materially different business versus today. Both of these companies have resolved to fight the charges against them, and they're preparing for the long haul. Now, they say Coinbase could be different. And what does that mean? And that means, in my opinion, that KYC will be to the 10th power. If you purchase Bitcoin or ETH or whatever, they want to know who got it, when you received it, and when you sell it, they want to know how much you sold it for. And come tax time, you better claim all of that so they can tax and get that profit. That's just a thought. So, looking at the complaint in itself that was filed by SEC, these are the projects that they named as securities. We talked about Solana, ADA, Polygon, Altcoins, Sandbox. You have Axie Infinity, I believe, Chiliz, Flow, Near, Voyager Token, Dash, and Nexo. There are also more, but these are the ones that I'm focused on and that we're going to talk about. So these were impacted negatively, and you'll see the last 7-day percentages that we just talked about, 20% or more. That's what it is. Again, it's a bargaining. If you like these projects, it's a good time to get into them if you still believe in the long run that they will prevail. Now, just because something is named a security doesn't mean it's going to die. They just have to adhere to regulations. Whatever, the regulations are of the US, they have to make sure they comply. It can kill a lot of projects, and some could just adhere to them and they can still prosper. So Binance lawyers allege that Gensler offered to serve as an advisor to the crypto company in 2019. Could this be the reason he has a grind to axe against Binance? Could it be? I think it's one in a couple. So according to a new filing by Binance lawyers, Gensler offered to be an advisor on the crypto exchange in 2019. At the time, Gensler was teaching Massachusetts, or MIT, Sloan School of Management. Gensler has been cracking down on the crypto industry over the past year, and earlier this week he sued Binance, which we talked about. So let's take a look at this here. This is our man Gensler back then, before he became SEC chair.
So we already know in the US and in many other jurisdictions that 3/4 of the market are not ICOs, or not what would be called securities. Even in the US, Canada, and Taiwan, the 3 jurisdictions that follow something similar to the Howey test that we've talked about, 3/4 of the market is non-securities. It's just a commodity, a cash crypto. So you'll hear debates about initial coin offerings and what's a security and what's not a security. Relevant and important debate, but for 3/4 of the market, it's not particularly relevant as a legal matter.
Interesting. Shout out to Luke Martin on Twitter. He has good content. Follow him for the clip. Also, Luke posted this. So what's going on with Binance? Why is the sudden change in Gensler's theory about cryptos and securities? Let's see. So we had SBF. He was the FTX CEO that we talked about at Nesium, but he went to college at MIT. And his girlfriend at one time, Carolyn Ellerson, she was also the co-CEO. And where'd she go to school? MIT. Interesting. Now, let's look at Gensler. Gensler was a teacher at MIT. Interesting. Glenn Ellison, that last name Ellison, does that sound familiar? That is Caroline's dad, and he was college head at MIT. So if we take a look at this chart here, we see MIT graduate SBF, and head of SEC and former professor at MIT, Gensler. And then we see Caroline and her dad also have MIT affiliations. It's important to note that I believe there were some scheduled meetings between Gensler and SBF. I'm not sure if they actually took place, but I know there was communications between the both of them. And all of this happened as far as FTX under Gensler's watch. All of this happened. And remember, I said Coinbase has been operating way before all of this happened, and still all of this is happening. So now let's take a look at CZ. So CZ, we know before FTX went down, basically, he called out FTX for their shenanigans. And shortly after that, there was a run on FTT token and things faltered. And I believe he's had a bullseye on his head or against him and Binance since that time. So this article says CZ and former FTX CEO SBF have revealed new details about the failed agreement between exchanges during FTX liquidity crisis in November. In a December 9 Twitter thread, CZ referred to SBF as a fraudster, saying Binance exited its position in FTX in July 2021 after becoming increasingly uncomfortable with the Alameda-SBF relationship. According to the CEO, FBF was unhinged at the exchange pulling out, a claim that prompted an online response from the former FTX CEO. So CZ started the thread about the liquidity issues and the business practices about FTX and FTT. Shortly thereafter, everything fell. And then there was something out there that CZ and Binance agreed or came to a potential agreement to purchase FTX in order to avoid what happened to it, ultimately it being faltered. And then something happened and that didn't happen. And ever since then, there's been bad blood. And there was a Twitter spat between the both of them on December 9th. So again, I believe that CZ starting this FTT debacle, and then Gary Gensler, Caroline, and SBF and their whole coalition or relationship from MIT, I think that from that point on, Binance had a target on its back. That's just my opinion. So now let's look at SBF. So also, why Gensler having a change of heart? Did you know, I'm sure you heard of this before, but SBF, he had a lot of political contributions, and the majority of those contributions were to the Democratic Party. Who's one of the famous senators in the Democratic Party? Elizabeth Warren, and we know she has a big crusade against crypto. Gensler is also part of, he was nominated, and that's what he's running with. Right now, he's combating crypto, and he's trying to save investors, according to him. Something to think about. Now, should we be fearful of our favorite projects and our altcoins dead? If we look at staking right now, Solana is still number 2 as far as staking goes at 70.7% of Solana being staked. Cardano is right there number 3 at 60.8%. So there's still people staking their favorite altcoins. Looking at Polygon here, 37.6%. But if we look at the last 24 hours, if there's been a dip in that, you'll see that the last 24 hours, about almost 8% of Solana was taken out of staking, and almost 5% of Cardano was taken out. So still overall, still positive. There's not a mass exodus in the projects. People are still there, still believing in it. Now, let's look at DeFi Llama as far as TVL and DeFi goes. If we look at Polygon, still has about 883 million staked right now. I'm sorry, not staked, total value locked. But if we look at the 7-day change, it's down 14%. Then let's look at Solana. Solana has 253 million TVL. And if we look at the 7-day change, it's about 5% down. So still not too bad. Not too bad at all. Now, Cardano, if we look at that, that is 127 TVL, and then it's down significantly with about 28% decrease in the past 7-day change. So there's pros and cons to it, but there's still TVL locked. People are still staking it. So that's where we stand right now with some of these altcoins that are named in the lawsuit. So to my ADA people out there, should you be scared? I saw this and I posted it in the community post that Cardanians, they were staking for Cardano, and this is what they posted, and I totally agree with it. ADA is not a security. The initial sale of ADA took place in Japan and was conducted in accordance with Japanese law. US citizens were left out of it. Cardano is the most decentralized network in the top 10. No one ever promised anyone a profit from holding ADA. Charles was explicit, and he said he had no influence on the price of the ADA and didn't care. ADA is used as a scarce resource for the decentralization of Cardano. 100% agree. Then I saw this from Cash, Pog NFT on Twitter. He said, everyone, when ADA was at $3, man, I wish I would have bought ADA when it was under 30 cents. And then they buy ADA at $3. Now, ADA's, sub 25 or, between 25 cents and 27 cents. This is so scary. Oh my God, Gary, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Then they sell ADA at 25 cents. I agree with this next statement. This is the time that will separate the winners from the losers. Have faith in your convictions and the rest will follow. This isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. Won't be the last time we are confronted by evil doing. Stay strong, Cardano fam. 100% agree with that statement. So, do I believe that this is the end? I do not. I have adapted my strategy, my investing strategy until further notice though. I want to see if these alts are going to continue to go down. So right now, my investments when I DCA is definitely going to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, and ADA. I still hold strong with ADA. I have a number in my head of ADA tokens that I want to hold, and I want that, and I'm going to get that. And I'm getting bargain prices for it. I'm going to continue to do that. However, right now, as far as the market goes, the safest would be Ethereum and Bitcoin because they're not named in the lawsuit. They're not considered securities at this time. So those are my 3 bags right now, and I'm watching. There's other ones that I mentioned on the channel that I'm very, very excited about, but we have time to see how all this changes and how it manifests itself. And when the time is right, I'll start investing in those as well. So guys, yes, the prices are low, and yes, it's cause for concern, but if you're convicted and you truly believe in the project, these are the prices you've been waiting for. Just think about back in 2021 when you saw prices so high and you kept thinking to yourself, man, if I had another opportunity, I would stack so much. This is it right here. Granted, the future is uncertain, but if you truly believe in the project, continue to focus, continue to build your bags, and then we'll be the last ones laughing come the next bull cycle. So guys, I hope you liked the video. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. And if you want to see more of my content, please subscribe to the channel. See you later, and thank you. Bye.